Okay, the page editor. Now, if you're watching this in the tutorial page, down the side of the screen, that way or that way, depending on which way I'm looking, you can expand the page editor section of the menu, and there's a separate video on all of the separate elements that go into a lot more detail. So this is just a quick overview of the page editor and generally how it works, because most things are shared throughout. Right, so blank page. Let me start from scratch. I'm going to choose add a container and add a one column container. If I hover over it, I get the blue box showing me that my element, my text element, is ready to use. And I can click on it and I can type away, this is my headline. Center it, and my config bar down the side, which always appears when you're editing something on the screen, allows me to do lots of stuff. Move it down, change the font size, change the font. You can add more Google fonts as much as you want. I can change the text color. Make it an orange, that'll do. Actually, I'll bold the keyword headline, and then I can change the bold color. So you can change the text color like so, and you can change the bold color like so, and other bits and pieces which I'll cover as I go through. So this config bar is where it all happens. And if I create let me add an image. I can do here, and I can move it down, and I can change the width of it, and I can change it and center it, and so on. Perhaps I can put a border. Click on border, change the border color. Let's make it a blue, and I can increase maybe the top and the bottom, and the corner radius. Go for a sort of a, I don't know, what's that, a sort of a TV look? As Bob Ross would say, it's your world. Create it as you will. So this is the config bar. This is where it all happens, and I can add more and more elements by clicking on this plus, clicking on text, and this is another line of text, and so on. There we go. Now, I talked about elements. These are these blue boxes. All of these elements exist within the container that I added, and I can see the container by hovering over this pink icons here, and it shows me the pink box, the container in which the elements are held. Now, why would I have different containers? Well, one example might be I might want to have a 2-column or 3-column container. A 2-column container is exactly that. It gives me 2 columns. So everything I add down the left-hand column will appear in the left-hand column. And likewise, if I put something in the right-hand column, it will appear in the right-hand column. And I can hover over it and I can edit the container as a whole, or I can actually edit individual columns. So for example, let's hover over this edit this column icon just to get this column, and I'll put in the background color. Put in I don't know, shade of green. That'll do. The container, if I hover over this right hand pink icon, is the whole thing. So if I've got multiple columns, it's the whole thing, and I can edit that as well, and I can put in a background color for the whole container, which wraps right to the edge of the screen, which is rather nice, and so on. Delete an element, click on it, delete, and it's gone, and so on. And that's basically how the page works. You can click on anything to edit it. I can move it around, so if I click, I can drag this and pop that up there instead. For example, I can click on the container and move the container down and just play around with it, really. I can add space at the top of the container, and if I scroll down the bottom of the container, quite nice, for example. And then you can use these containers to create multiple sections all the way down your page. So I could add another container, just a 1-column container, and I'm back into just a full width 1-column container across it. So this is the next section of my page. Center that, bring it out, bring it down the page, and so on. So very, very quickly, very easily, I can play around with my page, and that's pretty much the crux of it. It doesn't get much more complicated than that. You can do some pretty funky things. I mean, you can add background colors to all of your bits and pieces, make it more opaque if I want to. Maybe let's add a bottom border. So I'll get rid of the top border, get rid of the left, get rid of the right, and increase the bottom border, if I so wished, for example. Can even rotate things. I don't know why you would, but you can if you want to. But that's the basis of the page editor. It really is incredibly simple to use. It doesn't get much more complicated than that. I can add a background color with this dropper here. and I can choose a background color for my whole screen if I want to. That'll do. And this one here is a pop-up, so I can do a pop-up which will be you know, this appears in the center of the screen, and I can tick this box here, which will mean it will pop up if somebody tries to leave the screen. As the mouse moves away from the screen, it will boop, pop up on the screen. Let's close that. What else have we got? Well, I can go from desktop to tablet view, so that's how it will look on a tablet. So if, for example, I want to make this image bigger on a tablet, I can increase the width. Desktop is smaller, tablet is bigger. And the last one is mobile. And again here, so for example, I may want to make this font size smaller on a mobile, for example. So I can switch back, nice and big, slightly smaller. So they're the sort of three views of your site. So you can very easily make sure that your page looks good on a mobile as well as on desktop. We've got a heat map here which shows how much of your page is being seen by the visitors, so you can see where perhaps they're scrolling to a point and not scrolling any further. That's covered on a separate video about heat maps. And the last one here is a preview, so I can preview my page. As you can see, it looks exactly like it does in the editor. You know, you're editing WYSIWYG is what it's often referred to. What you see is what you get. It's what you're editing. And if I move my mouse away from the screen, I get the pop-up, which could be a further call to action to sign up or don't forget or whatever you want to do on your pop-up when they choose to leave the screen. You don't have to have it appearing when they leave the screen. Remember, on the pop-up here, if you don't tick this box, then it will just be a pop-up that you can use within your page when they click on a button or something like that. I can move the mouse around and it doesn't pop up. Let's add a button just to show you that. So if I add a button here, I can edit it just like before, move it down the screen, click me, and it tells you up here what to do. Either link to a page or download, like a lead magnet, or enter your payment details if you're selling something. Again, go into the other video tutorials down the tutorial page here, and it will show you how to set up payment buttons and all the rest of it. But let me just demonstrate how to link it to the pop-up. So I click here, link to a page or download. Here I can put in a URL of a website, it will just go to HTTP whatever, or I could choose from my existing pages in my funnel, so it will go to the next page in my funnel, or I could hide the pop-up. Let's just have a quick look at that. So here, the yellow icon here means I've got changes to be saved. It goes black when everything's up to date. So I'll preview that again. Oh, I need to tell the pop-up to appear. Oh no, I didn't, I changed it. I'm getting ahead of myself. Click me, click the button here, and up pops the pop-up rather than moving the mouse off the screen. It's as easy as that. Doesn't get much more complicated. See the separate video tutorials for each of the individual elements, and that will show you how to go into more detail on each of the various elements. But as you can see, it's really quite straightforward to do. It's hard to make it complicated, to be honest with you, so I won't. Okay, that's the overview of the page editor. Please check out the separate tutorials on each of the elements if you want to look at setting up taking payments or embedding videos or something like that. In fact, let's do that. Let's quickly do a video. Let's go to pick a random video from YouTube. Pick something worth watching or not, if not worth watching. Gosh, what a load of rubbish. Oh, it doesn't matter. Really doesn't matter. So this is a. Oop. Let's not upset anybody. Let's pick a game design review.
This is an ad for project management.
Right, so there's the URL for YouTube. Go back to my screen here. I want to get rid of the image, so I edit that and delete it, and instead I want to put in a video. So I click on the big plus to show a video underneath it. Click on the edit. I can move it down to get a bit of space if I so want. And up here I can choose YouTube or Vimeo. It's on YouTube. So I think I already did, but yep, copy the URL, paste, and click away. And there's a video. When you click on the video, it will play. Okay. So to edit these, where all of these you can click on them and it'll edit straight away. With the video, you click on this edit this element, just in case. And then you can do all of the usual bits and pieces that we did before. So let's turn it into a monitor. Let's make it a top. Let's choose a silver. Let's make it a Macintosh type thing. Bottom, left, height, and corner radius. And then we have a sort of a video thing going on, which is rather nice. Okay, so that's an overview of the page editor. Play. Best thing is to play. The more you play with it, the more you'll learn how to get on with it. Enjoy.